right, guys, so I am here with Dr. Tina Millerway, and she is the chair of Discovery Hall Programs, which is our K through 12 educational programs, professional development for educators, and outreach with our Baymobile. And they have some really cool programs that are coming online in the fall. Some of them kick off this weekend.
That's right.
And so I just grabbed her in her busy time to see if we could talk a little bit more about it. So what do you have going on this weekend to start?
So, we had a little bit of a delay with Hurricane Sally, but we're set up to have on-site groups visit us again. So our dormitory facilities are back up and running, our cafeteria is back up and running, the educators are just dying to talk to some students, and so we actually have a school group coming down this weekend. So our on-site programs are back up and running, which is wonderful.
Wonderful. So schools can come back down, teachers can bring their kids down, but it's not just teachers. You have the open door for other educators as well, other programs.
Sure. For example, this weekend we are out on the road at the Scout Jamboree there at Battleship Memorial Park. And in the past, we've hosted Boy Scout groups here to work on their badges. And so we hope we'll get some additional Boy Scout troops coming down and realizing we have the dorm facilities and we can help them work on oceanography badges and kayaking badges and environmental science badges and the relevant badges that they have compared with what we do.
Fantastic. So we have the school groups coming back on campus. You're working with Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, and all of those groups. Sure. But we do understand that there are still schools that can't travel. And so you and your team have ways to still be a part of those lessons in classrooms.
Yeah, so we realize, some students across the state of Alabama are still digital learning from home. They're not even in the classroom yet. So every district seems to be doing something slightly different. So we've reached out to those schools doing Zoom lessons, not necessarily using Zoom as a platform, but that's what we have been calling them. So virtual learning opportunities. I think we have almost 20 different topics that we can talk about relevant to marine science that we can share with teachers and their students through these digital platforms. So we've got those classes underway and happening and being scheduled right now as we speak. And then we also have the Baymobile. So there are some districts that are open and are allowing visitors on their campuses, on their school property. And so the Baymobile, which is our traveling marine science laboratory, can go out and visit those schools and actually bring the ocean to the classroom in these days when the classroom can't come visit us.
And that's great that y'all are able to do this. And going back to the Zoom lessons, which, as you said, can be on any platform, Google
Sure.
Meet, and you'll work with the teachers, whatever they have, whatever the school districts have.
Sure.
But what's really cool about that is you gear those towards the students that you're teaching. So it's not a matter of they're just specifically for middle school or high school. You can go as young as kindergarten.
Definitely. And one of the things that we learned this spring is that it's important to allow the connection to happen between the student and the instructor, even though it's done virtually. So all of those classes have built in some hands-on activities that the teacher could do with their students or that the students can do at home, but also time for the kids just to ask questions of the instructor. What's the scariest shark you ever saw? Or that worm is so cool, where does it live, kind of thing, so that the kids are allowed to just follow their curiosity. So that direct connection with the student is fun for us. And from what the research is showing, it's a really important part of this virtual learning experience we're all doing right now.
So you've adapted. That's great that your educators are still able to basically reach through the screen with these students and have that connection that's so very important at any age.
Sure, and we're still taking advantage of the SeaLab resources, the specimens that we have, the equipment that we have. We're still trying to bring all of that into those classes in a virtual way.
And so we have the Zoom lessons and the badges, but what's really cool is you have also created SeaLab Fridays and Ocean Saturdays.
Right. So now some parents, some students are looking for something to do besides sitting behind the screen most of the day. And so we've created these drop-in events, which we did not have before, that we're calling SeaLab Science Fridays, where a parent and a child, or simply a child if they're old enough to be dropped off by themselves, can come down and actually do one of our field classes with all these precautions that we're still using with COVID adaptations. But they can actually do those field classes even though they're not in a school group. And so these are pre-scheduled, if you will. They're every other Friday. And then on Saturdays, every other Saturdays, we're doing things a little bit more fun. I'm not so focused on a class kind of structure. And we have Ocean Saturdays. They all have a different ocean theme, but we'll get together for the bulk of the day, 5 to 6 hours, and we'll go out and do some hands-on stuff and visit the beach or look at birds through the maritime forest or build and actually fly some underwater robots in the SeaLab pool here on campus. So those are pre-scheduled, and people can just register to come and have a good day and learn a little bit along the way about our beautiful coastal environment.
I think that's great that y'all have adapted and created these new opportunities that go outside the classroom and bring the families into it and everything as well. So do you have anything that I'm missing that y'all have? I mean, we still have the ROV competition that we're working to have in April, and we still, will work with our professional development that you work with NOAA and Sea Grant and some of those. But is there anything else new online that we haven't talked about yet?
Well, we do have the professional development happening at the end of this month that we do in collaboration with the National Marine Sanctuaries Foundation, focused particularly this time on underwater robotics, so it works very well with what we're doing. We have a couple of new STEAM classes, if you will, STEAM being the science, technology, engineering, and math. And one of those is focused on ocean currents and things that scientists use to measure currents called drifters. So we have a program where kids can come down and actually build a drifter and see how a drifter works, and we use an app to track that drifter as it moves along in the current here on Dauphin Island. Let's see, professional development coming up. We have the NOAA workshop, and then we have
the family camps, didn't we? We missed those. We completed the family camp.
Thank you, Angela. We do. Coming up the third weekend in October, we have what we're calling a family camp. So, when the school groups come down, we have parents that come along as chaperones, and they always say, "Hey, this was so much fun. I wish I could do this." And so this is an opportunity for that to happen. So we're hosting a family camp where families, group of people who have already shared their viral particles, if you will, can come down as a group and do a weekend of fun activities. We'll be going out kayaking and looking at the salt marsh from a different perspective from kayaks. We'll be taking a trip on the Dauphin Island SeaLab's research vessel and going out and looking at the bay and collecting specimens and learning to identify the fishes and identify the birds and things like that. And we've done that in the past for particular segments of the population, but in this case, we're opening it up to families, and we can't wait to see who shows up.
Wonderful. So, Tina, some great things that you have online, and we wanted to share them with you all. And we will have everything on our website, disl.edu, at the DHP page, and have it focused. So, thanks for taking a minute with us, and hope to see y'all down here soon.
Thanks.